This show is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. Head over to the den.show for other great podcasts.
Oh, good for you!
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out another episode of Deluxe Edition, the show where we love to dig deep into classic pop culture. My name is Bill Siebold, here as always with Mr. Casey Shearer. How are you, my friend?
What's up, Bill?
Are we a show, a pod? What are we? We're like we're like a pod tube, a UCast. We're a hybrid thing. People ask me, they're like, "Are you talk about your show, but are you a podcast? Are you a YouTube show? Are you a YouTuber?" I'm like, I guess we're YouTubers. Would you call us YouTubers?
We're a classic pop culture podcast who also has a video on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay, so we're primarily a podcast. All right, that's what I'm going to tell everybody.
A podcast. Most popular podcasts have a YouTube show as well. A YouTube video podcast
component, yeah. Well, not the ones I listen to. So I was all confused. I'm like, I don't know. I've been doing this for like a year and a half. I have no fucking idea what we are. I guess we're YouTubers. They're like, you're a YouTuber. I'm like, that seems like something for young people. I don't think I'm a YouTuber. I don't know. But you know what they always say on YouTube? They're like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe. We say that too. Casey. So I think we might be YouTubers.
Yeah, we're definitely YouTubers.
Well, everyone, please like and subscribe. We need you. We know a lot of people are listening. Like we have the stats. We know you're listening. We know there's lots of you listening. You're not all watching the videos. And I put a lot of good shit in those videos. Yeah, you guys are just so quiet. They're quiet, Casey.
Yeah, start commenting. Leave comments. Let us know how you if you like us or if you don't like Bill.
Yeah, I can take it. Most people don't like me. Hey, we had a great episode last week. We went live for the first time. Yeah, we pulled that off. That was kind of cool. StreamYard, this you know the platform that we're broadcasting from, lets us go live, and Casey figured out how to do it.
Yeah, it went rather well, I think.
Yeah,
I think that we're gonna have to do it again because, unfortunately, no one had a complete bracket. No one made it all the way to the end of our game with a solid.
Wait a minute.
With a.
Wait a minute. So the 80s game is unfinishable? Yeah. Nobody won.
Well, all right. So the game hasn't, as of this recording, the game hasn't been finished yet. Oh. But in order to win the complete prize package that I had, you had to have a complete solid bracket. Every pick in the bracket on your bracket had to be exactly correct. Unfortunately, no one had an exact complete bracket. We didn't get to the end of the bracket as of this recording yet, so there may be someone might have picked the winner, but the rules of the game stated that you must have the entire bracket completely filled out exactly correct in order to win the grand prize.
So what if nobody goes and fills it completely out? The game will never end. This would be the greatest prank on you. It would turn it right around, and you'd have to keep, captaining this game that never ends.
No, they already filled out the bracket. That part is already over. It just the game is already over as far as the bracket because no one got the bracket completely right.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know is fun to do a live episode, even though we're playing it. It was us. It was me and Ray from 80s Now, right? We had Will on from 80s Now. And we had Ray on, last time. So we have one more from the show to get on. But Ray, it's funny to me how different Ray and Will are. They are totally different. And as we're going through the show, I'm like, Ray is like Casey. I'm like Will. I figured it out. So it's fun to watch them work together because they're kind of mismatched like us. And I was watching through one of their shows the other day, man, and they had Elvira on. They had interviewed Elvira. Wow, that was cool. because we tried to get Elvira. We weren't successful. But they did a great interview. So, hats off to them. One day we got to do a episode of everybody we tried to get and couldn't get.
Yeah.
That actually might be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. But going live, it was an interesting thing. So I'm glad we got to try it. Today, Casey, we're not live. Today, you had an idea for a show. And you were like, hey, man, that new Batman movie's coming out. How about we talk about Batman? I'm like, I could riff on Batman. I could do some Batman.
Yeah.
Do me a little Batman. So, I mean, you saw the new trailer, right?
I have not. I have not seen the new trailer.
You have how are you avoiding it? I mean, it's everywhere. I know you didn't watch the Super Bowl, so you didn't see it there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's an interesting looking.
I did watch the Super Bowl. I don't remember the trailer though.
Pretty sure there was a Batman trailer. Yeah.
Really?
I don't. Maybe not. What the fuck do I know? I was drinking.
I don't know. Either way, yeah, I haven't seen it. Look, I'm a huge Batman fan. I always love Batman. I always like the real side of Batman, how he didn't really have any superhero or superpowers. He was just a rich guy who had a lot of cool shit,
That's what you liked about him.
That was the thing that I always liked about it. As we found out during that interview with Ray, or not interview, but the show with Ray, you and Ray like the fantasy world where I like real life. So I felt that Batman was always more real life because he didn't have those superpowers like all the other superheroes.
Okay. All right. I always liked him because, he was supposed to be this guy with those superpowers, but there were always times like I would talk to my friends. I'm like, did you read that one comic? Yeah, Superman. Superman said the only person he's afraid of is Batman. Stuff like that. Like it makes that idea of, hey, here's somebody without any powers at all can be one of the scariest, sons of bitches on the entire planet. So scary that Superman is afraid of him. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This new trailer, though, it's like taking on a whole different, they've had a whole bunch of reboots of this franchise already. And it's like, well, what do we do different? And we're going to go through on this episode. We're going to talk about all the different movies that have already come out. This one, when it first started kind of revealing some of the scenes, it was a grittier, looked like a year one type Batman story, right? Here's a Batman that maybe isn't really able to fly around the buildings yet, zip line all over like he does. It doesn't have the crazy, ships and everything he gets later in his life. So it seems like a grittier, down to earth Batman story. The last trailer I saw that I thought I saw at the Super Bowl, maybe I looked at it online the same time, and that's why I'm confused, now shows that it's a big movie. Like it's a big, big, big movie. People are now going, well, what universe is this in? Right. Because this isn't obviously the Batman that can fit in with the Jason Momoa Superman, Aquaman, so is this in the Joker universe or is this now a whole standalone? So they're getting into this whole world of, DC Films is getting into this whole, man, we have a ton of different types of universes for our heroes. So this one is like, all right, we're going to follow the same suit. We're going to be a standalone film. We're not going to be attached to anything else, as far as I know, unless they're going to decide to attach it later. But I guess I was a little disappointed to see that it is that big CGI scaled movie. I thought it was a lot grittier and a little bit less about the stunts and more about the character. I don't know. The last trailer that showed me how big it was kind of disappointed me a bit.
Yeah, I think the reason I've been maybe avoiding it is I'm nervous about the guy playing Batman. Robert Pattinson, is that in the new one? I only know him. I only know him from those vampire movies.
So you watched those?
Look, I never watched them. I just know that he was in those.
Do you know how many people he killed in those? Hundreds of people. He's a motherfucker in those. And you don't know it. You're judging him based on those sparkly vampires, but you have no idea. He was brutal.
All right. I've seen clips of those movies.
Yeah. Well,
I've never seen him in anything else, so I'm worried about how he's going to come across. But I remember, and we talked about this last week a little bit when we mentioned the original Batman movie from 1989. People were worried, I think, about Michael Keaton the same way because he had always done the comedy movies and stuff like that. So,
yeah, well, I don't think people are worried
see.
about this guy. People love this guy now. He did a Patterson, whatever his name is. He did a movie with Willem Dafoe called The Lighthouse, I think. Yeah, just incredible. He was remarkable. Batman, Pattinson was so good in this movie because he was going toe to toe with, it was basically just him and Willem Dafoe playing these two characters in a it's a crazy movie. Go see Lighthouse or Watchtower or whatever the fuck it's called. But I don't know. I think after seeing that, I have no doubt that this kid is going to be a pretty good Batman.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that Lighthouse movie out.
Yeah.
I like Willem Dafoe for sure.
What's your favorite Batman movie?
I would say probably I like Batman Begins a lot. I started watching that again the other day. I like that.
Yeah. Which is your favorite version of Batman?
I honestly like the Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck playing Batman. I like that gritty, like the old man Batman, like doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's just fucking plowing through, actually killing people. Like that's something you never saw in a Batman before. Like him actually killing people. He always like strung them up for the cops to get, or let them go before. He never killed anyone in any of the other movies.
Your favorite Batman is the Ben Affleck one. This has been a great podcast, buddy. Today will be our last day.
Come on now. Ben Affleck's awesome, dude.
I didn't mind him too much. He worked out pretty well. But when he got the role and everybody heard about it, like the internet went berserk. They're like, this guy sucks. He's never going to be a good Batman. And then people were like, oh shit, I guess he's not so bad.
I was disappointed that there wasn't more of him. Wasn't that part of the deal? Like, wasn't he signed on to do 6 movies and then after the first one he just quit?
No, I don't really know. Yeah, there was a whole bunch going on. That's when that whole Justice League nonsense was happening, right? They had I don't know if you know the story with that movie.
No.
Let's what? I don't know. You're like,
let's get into because I have the list of all the Batman movies in order here, and then we can get to the Justice League and then you can tell me about it then.
Oh, no, that's good. I wasn't even thinking you'd have Justice League on there. I guess that would count as a Batman movie. Go ahead. Let's go into it. Go ahead. Let's start from the beginning. What's the first Batman movie you're bringing to the table today?
The first Batman movie you got to go with is 1966, Batman the movie. That with Adam West, Burt Ward. We had Burt Ward on. It's the first full-length adaptation of DC Comics character Batman. Film hit theaters 2 months after the last episode of the first season, so right when it was on fire. And it included most of the members of the original show, with the exception of Julie Newmar, who played Catwoman in the first 2 seasons. But for the movie, she was replaced by Lee Merriweather for some reason.
What was the reason?
I don't know. It just says for some reason.
That is some serious sleuthing there, Casey. You had the one source. It's like, for some reason, you're like, that's good enough for me.
It actually doesn't even say that. I just added that to the end of my sentence.
Oh, right. No, that sounds like something you get right out of Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah.
She was born in Albuquerque. Oh, what year? Some year. It doesn't really matter. Oh, okay. Can you tell me about her life? Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's Wikipedia. Anybody can say anything anymore.
Come on now. Wikipedia has been great to us.
They don't care about the facts either.
Yeah. What do you think of this? The original Batman, the Batman movie. This is the one that had the famous shark repellent scene. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where he comes up out of the water with the shark on his leg.
Holy sardine!
Yeah, but to me it was always playing on TV, and so were the old shows reruns. So it was always blended together. I don't think I really realized that some of the times when it was on TV, I wasn't watching the show. I was actually watching the movie, because it was like, we have a movie. We got to go a little bigger. I guess the budget got bigger. all of the main villains, at least most of them, I remember were there. So it was probably like, well, we got to pay all these guys at once. So there's our budget. Now this film is going to be a high budget film. I don't remember anything fantastic out of it. I remember there was a submarine. Yeah, that's kind of it. All the early Batman stuff just runs together with me.
Yeah. I remember the one scene when I think it was around that time with the shark. There was just like a big round bomb with the fuse on it. Do you remember that? And Adam West was trying to like run in to all the different places. When I met Adam West at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, that's the photo that I got him to sign. The one with him holding the bomb.
Yeah. Bert, when he was on our show, he was saying you'd be like, I got one good piece of advice from Adam West. Talk slow, Dick, because if you talk slow, they have to keep the camera on you longer. And I thought that was pretty funny. He's like, oh, I see you now. I totally understand your acting style. Because he does. He talks slow like Shatner. I wonder if Shatner does the same thing. I mentioned on the show last week or the week before that show Titans, right? Because they have a version of Bruce Wayne on that show that is so much fun because there's times where, and I'm sorry, I don't know the actor's name. He doesn't know my name either, so fuck it. So, there's times where this guy is half like scary, brutal, Bruce Wayne, who maybe has a few screws loose. And then there's times where this guy looks a little like the 66 version of Batman, looks a little like Adam West. There's little motions and movements and things that he says that are kind of Adam West-like meets a brooding, fucked up. They always say in the show, they're like, oh, Bruce, your father, because the show's really centered around Robin and younger people are like, your father is a borderline psychopath, so like you get like sometimes you get this borderline psychopath guy, and then you get this other 66. Like I remember there's one scene where I don't want to ruin too much, that's why I'm trying to be careful here, where one of the characters has a vision of Bruce Wayne showing up, and he's like at a dance club and he's doing the Bat Tootsie, right? Remember he did that stupid thing in the old show?
Come on, boy wonder, this is your show. The whole night is about you. Saving your ass. Chasing your ghosts. Let's see what you got.
Like you see this character just doing this in the background, like all these little winks. And then there's another scene where they show him, and again, I don't want to spoil too much, but there is a Batman appearance in this show. And it's the darkest, most like violent, most fuck. Where is this motherfucker? You're kind of in a dark room. You're like I got kind of scared watching it because you think Batman's like off the deep end now. And it's like, oh my God, this guy's got everything figured out and he's going to take you down before you even realize that he's in the room. So yeah, 66 Batman was just a cartoon. We're going to get into how crazy, the entire Batman mythos has gotten because they've really put everything from what I know of Batman on the screen to some degree, more so in those animated cartoons. I don't know I know we're not counting those, but if you're watching those animated movies, maybe you are counting those. We'll be here all day. But like some of those Batman appearances in those DC animated cartoons, they're great versions of Batman. They probably get Batman the best of anything that I've seen with Batman in it that isn't a comic book.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to that would be a completely different show with the animated series because they even did some really good ones with the 66 with Adam West and Burt Ward came back, and a lot of the old characters maybe in 2015 or 16 something like that where they did a cartoon version of it, and it's awesome. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you read it? I didn't check it out.
No, I actually have the comics, but I'm talking about it was an animated like a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like a cartoon then?
Yeah, cartoon. Adam West and Burt Ward actually voiced their characters again. Oh. They brought their characters back for a cartoon version. Yeah,
you're right. It kind of rings a bell now. I remember being a fan of Justice Super Friends growing up.
Okay.
And like one season, like they had whoever they had, one of those voices that you hear in every single cartoon show. I think maybe it was like Fred from Scooby-Doo was also Batman, whatever. And then all of a sudden, one season, it wasn't this guy anymore. It was Adam West. They had hired him. They hired him back to be Batman, the voice of Batman. So I remember going and checking out reruns. I'm like, all right, what are we getting? The other guy, or are we getting Batman? I thought that was cool. I was all excited when I heard Adam West.
Think about that, man. He did that show in 1966. I'm sure he did a few other things here and there, but he made money on that character, on the Batman character, until the day he died.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
He's still making money on
one character. Oh, yeah. His family, I'm sure. Yeah.
I heard they just take bags of dollars and just throw them down on top of his grave. And if you go there, it's just a giant pile of dollars.
Just a giant pile of cash.
Yeah. You walk up, you're like, you know what? I'm in this funeral cemetery here. Where's oh, there's Batman. There he is. Giant pile of money goes as high as the sky. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
You better move to the next movie.
All right. The next movie in the line is the famous Batman 1989, the Tim Burton. We talked about it last week with Ray, produced by John Peters and Peter Gruber. The first installment of the Warner Brothers initial film series. Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, Robert Wool, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams, Michael Gough, and Jack Palance. I started watching this movie the other day. I cannot believe we had Robert Wool on the show. I didn't realize how much he's in this movie. He was in a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
I just recently, it had been many years since I've seen it again. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to brush up on a little Batman since we were doing this episode, and I got through most of it.
Yeah. It's one of those, for me, it's one of those that it doesn't go off. That first one, if it's on TV, it stays on TV. The second one I liked, but the first one was a game changer. Yeah, we talked about it last week. Like you said, when it came out, Batman was everywhere. You're wearing a Batman shirt. I saw nothing but Batman shirts, back in the day. It's a huge deal, that movie. And you mentioned the producer, John Peters. John Peters is a guy that I think most people don't like. I've seen interviews with him. I've heard people talk about him. He's pretty much the guy that ruined the Batman trilogy. That thing could have kept on going, but he had terrible ideas. There's a story out there. There's a video out there that somebody put together, a YouTube documentary, and it's called The Death of Superman, because this guy had worked so well with Tim, what's his last? What's with Tim? You know what I'm talking about? Burton. Tim Burton. He had worked, with Tim Burton for a couple of years. So he's like, let's go and make the Superman movie. And on one of the shows before, I told you that this guy comes in, he goes, here's what I want Superman to do. And it's so stupid. It's so beyond stupid that Tim Burton's like, I'm done working with this company, this organization, you people, so he just got scared away from doing anything with Warner Brothers. But I would have loved if they kept it going. It was that good. And I wanted to see what else Tim Burton could do with it. So it's a real shame that it kind of ended the way it did. And then Michael Keaton was like, yeah, I'm not really digging this third idea. This is terrible. Tim Burton's gone. I'm out. And he split. And now what's really killer is there's two movies coming out that have Michael Keaton coming back as 1989 Batman.
Yeah.
Right. It's already in the trailer. So this isn't really a spoiler, but they're doing that whole multiverse thing that Marvel is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Flash.
Fucking fascinated. Yeah. It's with the Flash. And I heard they're doing a Batgirl movie that's already filming, and they've already got shots of Michael Keaton walking around set on that. So I guess 1989 Batman is back.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to go. Let's jump back. You mentioned that show, The Titans. I remember. Does DC still have their DC streaming service?
I don't think it's available anymore. I think it's now on HBO Max. That's how I watch it.
Because is that what Titans is from? Is it a completely new series? Because there was a good show on that DC streaming service that was a Titans show. Oh, this is that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're on their third, or maybe they're going on to their fourth season now. They're filming it. It's hit or miss. There's a lot of dog shit in that show.
Yeah.
but there's some really good performances and some really good fights. It's a if you can handle some shit, it's a fun show to watch. It's a pretty damn fun show to watch.
I remember it being good, and it's rated R too because it's right. It's not. No,
it's not for kids. It's violent.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah, you had mentioned these. You touched on these a little bit there in what you said, but the next movie in the series is Batman Returns. Michael Keaton returns as Batman. Danny DeVito playing the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Christopher Walken, Michael Gough returns. Pat Hingle returns. Michael Murphy. Batman faces the Penguin. Plots to kill all of Gotham City's firstborn sons while dealing with Max Schreck, a corrupt tycoon who allies with the Penguin to bring Gotham City under his control, and Catwoman, who seeks vengeance against Schreck. So tell us about this. You mentioned it a little bit there. This was still Tim Burton.
Well, no, he was still into doing this one, but there was a lot of like he already had Hollywood kind of breathing down his neck, like, hey man, that first movie went really good. We got to make some more, and we got to sell some more toys, right? So that always happens. Once these things are successful, now they're just like, make more and let's sell toys with them. So I remember reading or hearing Tim Burton talking about it. They're sending the producers, I guess, the dailies. They're like, this is what we're going with. And they show the Penguin. And Danny DeVito's in amazing makeup, right? And he's kind of bloody and kind of gory. And they're like, oh, no, you got to change this. And Tim Burton's like, the fuck you talking about? Because we can't sell Happy Meals with this guy on the box. He's going to make kids puke their fries out. And he's like, I'm not changing my movie for a Happy Meal. So there was constant like fights. Like you have to sort of tone this stuff down. That's probably another part of the reason where Tim Burton was ready to jump ship and not do any more Warner Brothers stuff. But, apparently this movie was beat up a bit because the non-creatives were way more involved. Because, before it's like, here's our money, go ahead and make something, Now it's, here's our money, go ahead and make something great. And I'm going to pay a lot of attention because now I know how this investment works and I want to be there the entire way to shape it. And that happens a lot, I guess, in Hollywood. If the business people could just stay the fuck away, the John Peters and all those idiots, just let the artists work. The artist will send it to them and say, here's what you got for your investment. Thank you for keeping your nose out of it. We'd have better movies today. But it doesn't usually work like that.
That's kind of what we were going. That's what we were talking about with the censorship in Pop Culture episode with about Quentin Tarantino. Like he makes his own stuff. Like no one's telling him you can't do this. Or I guess they are, but he's just saying, no, this is the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like ask for forgiveness, not what's that phrase? It's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Like just deliver the shit. Right. Yeah. Like I'm not a very confrontational person. So if I were to sit there and deliver this and be like, OK, knowing they're not going to like it, like be like, here you go. Well, this is dog shit. This is everything the opposite. This is nothing what we wanted. Like I would hate that. Oh, I get anxious just thinking about it. Like these movies are $1 billion movies and you're just like, I'm going rogue, motherfucker. Because there are directors that do that.
Yeah, you can't do that, though, when you work for someone big and they're asking for something specific.
Right.
But on the other hand, though, they're hiring you for a specific reason. Like they're hiring Tim Burton because he's Tim Burton. So they should go with his vision. Like, they shouldn't question what he's. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, look, I got a buddy, my buddy Derek. He goes to this guy who does tattoos and he doesn't give a shit what the guy's going to draw on his arm. He's just so happy to go there and let the master do whatever he wants to do. Like there's people that can do that. No. And then there's people that have to be involved. Like I need to know what's going on my skin. I need a lot more talking to about this. So there's different kinds of people out there. Yeah. I know I'd be somebody with my investment going, hey, I want to make sure you guys aren't creating dog shit here. Like I'm not looking to get into the creative process. I just want to, well, maybe I am. I just want to make sure it doesn't get too stupid and off the rails, Right. So I do see both sides of it.
Yeah. All right. Maybe you can tell me a little more about these next two, because I've never seen these. They are in this world. This is a continuation of Batman Returns. Batman Forever, 1995, directed by Joel Schumacher, produced by Tim Burton, based on Batman. Third installment, sequel to 1992 film Batman Returns. They bring Val Kilmer in to play Batman. Tommy Lee Jones is in it. Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell, Michael Gough returns. Pat Hingle returns. The plot focuses on Batman trying to stop Two-Face and the Riddler. This one, I never watched this one. This one always seemed a little too campy for me.
Yeah. You just said too, it's a continuation of the first two. Yeah, I guess it was, because the two people that you said came back, they were like, I think it was like one of the cops and maybe the other was Commissioner Gordon or something like that. Like it wasn't a main player. Other than them, I don't think most people think of Batman Returns or Batman Forever as the third one. It's just so different. The tone is different. I mean, talk about how different one director versus another can be. Just watch Batman and Batman Forever, back to back, and it's just so different. I know Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey was in his prime, right? I know Tommy Lee Jones couldn't stand the guy. Like, oh, I can't stand. So every time you see them do scenes together, like they just couldn't get along. That's my favorite. When somebody can't get along, right? And you see them do scenes where they're interacting and they're just like, I can't fucking stand this guy, but I got to pretend I like it. That's funny. That's really funny to me.
I like that. So this is the third installment, and they're still trying to. It says produced by Tim Burton, so they're still trying to hang on to his name. But
yeah, I wonder how much he was actually involved. I don't know.
Much, right?
I mean, it's possible. What I understand is sometimes you just say I produced it, and you really didn't do anything but throw a couple bucks in, and you really just invested in it. But the word is the same.
Right. As we found out through these, as we found out through these Indiegogo movie projects, I mean, you throw money at something and you can get your name on as anything. But I can't imagine it. Why would he have to put money towards anything? They probably were just trying to hang on to his name because they know how well the first two did.
Yeah, but that Indiegogo example, I think you're right on. Like the way that Indiegogo works, and you can, sort of pay to get into something and get a credit somehow. Like I think a lot of companies and little vendors would work with these different movie companies in all various roles and different levels of actual creation. Like, sometimes you hear about somebody who goes in and just spends a couple days and doesn't get credited, like it's just these movies are hodgepodges. They're just total hodgepodges. So, when you see a name like Steven Spielberg presents, you just think that he has so much to do with it. He may not have. He may have had almost nothing. He may have worked a deal out with his buddy George Lucas over drinks. Like, all right, you could throw my name in there. I know it brings a couple dollars, but go ahead. I'll use your name on my next one. Like, it really could work as phony as Indiegogo works.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like we talked to Mark Singer a few times. We brought up Roger Corman with him. Same way with Roger Corman. Like his name was just put on certain projects, and they were filmed at Corman Studios. They're just throwing his name on there because he was a name that people were familiar with.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
It's not like he had any involvement in it whatsoever.
Maybe he was just signing the check.
Yeah. All right. So Batman and Robin, it's the final installment of that first film series. It's considered a sequel to Batman Forever, but the only film in the series made without the involvement of Tim Burton in any capacity. Directed by Joel Schumacher, written by Akiva Goldsman. They bring in another Batman, George Clooney, who replaced Val Kilmer. They bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Chris O'Donnell reprises his role as Robin. They bring in Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, Michael Gough, and Pat Hingle once again. And I guess that's what ties all four movies together. And Elle McPherson. They're bringing in some big names for this last one.
Yeah. We were already thinking it wasn't connected to the first at all or the second. It was just now it's on a downhill slide. Like, I don't know if you remember that movie, but it bombed.
I've never seen it.
It was largely panned, really unliked. Stupid jokes. Yeah. Like, and the thing is, like, they'll talk to George Clooney and he's like, I'm sorry I made the movie. I do apologize, everybody. I'm sorry. I should have done it. He's pretty funny about it. But he sort of has said, he's like, that's the way they wanted me to play it. They wanted a little bit more 1966 Batman into it. Yeah. So when you watch George Clooney, he's kind of, he's doing what he's told to do. But the way the movie's shot and the way it's directed, it's corny. It's cheesy. And Joel Schumacher, right? He did Lost Boys. So like he had a lot of fan, support behind him. And it was just like, I remember going to see it. And everybody likes Val Kilmer. You can't say, and I'm talking about the one before, like, you can't say you've seen a bad Val Kilmer movie, but even that one was bad. Like, it just wasn't good. Because you're coming, Joel Schumacher just didn't get it. And probably the worst thing ever to happen in a Batman movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, because he's using all his dumb Schwarzenegger lines. Yeah. And they're just tired by now. And you're just like, oh, it's over for him. And it might have been the last movie that he ever, really starred in as a big name. But it was, I saw it in the drive-in. And I remember thinking, I just have this memory rather of going, I think he's running out of parts. I don't know where the hell Schwarzenegger goes from here.
Yeah, I've never seen the last two that we mentioned. It's just I always felt like I wasn't gonna like them. I just knew that I wasn't gonna like them, so I just never went down that hole.
Yeah, they brought in Robin. You said O'Donnell. I forget his first name. And Alicia Silverstone, Chris O'Donnell. Alicia Silverstone came as Batgirl, and it was like they're trying everything. They're just trying to make it work. There's one line in the fucking movie. It's like they're on some kind of rocky island. It's nighttime, raining. It's really dramatic. They're trying to sneak into an underground lair. It looks like a big budget version of 1966 Batman. And something happens, and Robin looks down. He goes, what does he say?
Holy rusted metal, Batman! Huh? Your ground, it's all metal. It's full of holes, Holy!
Oh. It's holy. It's got a whole bunch of holes in it. Like right on the nose. Like it was just like, oh God, this is awful. Like right in the middle of like a climatic scene. This is the kind of movie it was. So you're lucky to have missed it.
This is the Clooney one?
This is actually the Val Kilmer one. This is Batman Forever. Like all of them are forgettable. They're just bad. But that's the reason, like there was nothing for a while. These two movies killed Batman movies. So that hype went crazy in 1989. It pretty much died really soon after because these two movies were absolute turds.
Damn, that reminds me of, I can't remember the actor's name, but someone said, I can't believe you made that movie. And it's sort of like someone would say something like that to George Clooney, about making this movie. And they said, I've never seen it, but I did see the house that it bought me.
Yeah, like, I'm sure. I'm sure George got a good payday.
Still getting paid. Yeah. Still getting paid. All right. So then that's the end of that series. 1997. That was the last one. So then we don't get another Batman movie until 2005 with the reboot, Batman Begins, directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan and David Goyer. Christian Bale as Batman with Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Katie Holmes, Gary Oldman, Tom Wilkinson, Rutger Hauer, Ken Watanabe, and Morgan Freeman. Film reboots the Batman film, so we get the origin story of Batman once again, the death of his parents, and then his journey to begin Batman and his fight to stop Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow from plunging Gotham City into chaos. What did you think of this Batman, Bill? What did you think of Christian Bale as Batman?
I didn't like him.
You didn't?
Not at all. No. So these three movies I was not a fan of. Really? I remember, I watched this and I was like, okay, they're teaching him the ways of the ninja for some reason, but all right, I guess, Batman's a ninja. Not remembering he was ever a ninja in the comics, but somebody trained him to be a ninja. You know, he was good in the comics, so maybe he was trained to be a ninja. I don't know. I was watching it. I was just kind of like, it's a lot less Batman than I want. I'm watching a lot more Christian Bale than I care for in my Batman movies. Yeah, it didn't stick with me. I've seen that one a couple times, but no, I couldn't even tell you how it ends. I've forgotten it. What'd you think of it?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen the ending of any of these, the next three that we're about to get into. I feel that I saw somebody post this on Twitter the other day. Bring back the 90-minute movie. I 100% agree with that. Movies are too fucking long now. I don't need a 2.5, 3 hour long movie. It's too much for me. I can't sit through it. Unless it's like really, really good. It's too much. And I just think that these Batman movies were too long. Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm with you. I think maybe except for the first one, I think all of them I've seen in pieces because it is a lot to take in. So I don't remember much about the first, but moving along to the second, like, I didn't like Christian Bale. Every time I think of Christian Bale, by the way, I only think about that outtake that somebody recorded on set. I forget what movie he was on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Guy was he just snaps. Yeah. Guy was standing in his light. Oh, Judge, you can't stand in my light. Who the fuck are you? I'm sorry. Good for you.
I want you off the fucking set, you prick.
I'm sorry.
No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 fucking second. The fuck are you doing? Are you professional or not?
Yes, I am.
Do I fucking walk around and rip that? No, shut the fuck up, Bruce. Do I want? No! Don't shut me up. Am I gonna walk around and rip your fucking lights down in the middle of a scene? Then why the fuck are you walking right through? Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you? What don't you fucking understand?
I was looking at the light.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
I hate him. I would love to punch Christian Bale in the face. Like, he was such a dick to this poor guy. Guy's like, what the fuck, man? I'm sorry. I just fucked up.
Get out of his light.
All you do is fucking. You're Batman.
I'm with Christian Bale on this. Get out of his fucking light. You're not.
Calm down, Christian Bale. You're making a lot of fucking money. I mean, this poor guy.
Goddamn gaffer.
Good for you, gaffer. You're just a gaffer. Whatever a gaffer is.
What is a gaffer? If you know what a gaffer is, let us know.
Leave a comment. Get out of my light, you gaffer. I'm Christian Bale. I was in Hollywood Hustle or whatever that movie was. Like, he was in all these movies and I would just skip him because I hated Batman. Because he would do that and pray, oh, I'm Batman. Like, it was the worst Batman impression. Oh, get out of here.
Where were the other drugs going?
I never knew. I don't know. I swear to God.
Swear to me.
I don't know. I never knew. Never. They went to some guy for a couple of days before they went to the dealers.
Why?
There was something else in the drugs. Something hidden.
What?
I never went to the drop-off point. It was in the Narrows. Cops only go there when they're in force.
Good for you.
I hated his voice in that. It was the dumbest.
Really? See, I didn't have a problem with him. I didn't have a problem with him being Batman. I think he might be a little too. How tall is he? Do we know? I think he's 5'2". Short.
Yeah, 5'2".
Come on.
Right.
Get out of here.
He's the worst
Is
Batman.
He that little?
No, I don't know. I hate him. I can't stand him. So it was so hard to like watch these movies and try to put my dislike for the guy, aside. But the Joker, everyone loves that kid's Joker, like what? You're still stuck on
news. You might not have heard this, but after the Batman, do you know who the next Batman's going to be? They're bringing back a real gritty Batman. They've already announced it. What are you talking about?
No, they haven't. Go ahead. Hit me with your joke. The Mel Gibson Batman. That's you. You're going to make me watch it. You're never going to believe it, Bill. Mel Gibson is the new Batman. It's the greatest movie. It's better than Fat Man.
If you think Bill hates Christian Bale, wait until we get on the story about him and Mel Gibson. He loves him.
That guy's
all right,
garbage.
Let's get through these next two movies. All right, these next two. So The Dark Knight, you already mentioned that. 2008, second installment. Again, done by Christopher Nolan. He did all three of these, right?
Yeah. And he's loved. I mean, he did Inception. He did Memento. He's done some really, smart movies. And then it was, whoa, this guy who knows how to make smart stuff is making Batman. That's cool. Just, I couldn't get into it.
Wasn't a hit for you.
No.
I like Gary Oldman. I like him a lot. I like, I like Christian Bale as Batman. So, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises, 2012, again directed by Nolan, who co-wrote it with his brother Jonathan Nolan. Story again by David Goyer. Final installment of the trilogy. Michael Caine again, Gary Oldman again, Anne Hathaway, Tom Hardy then as Bane. 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight, the revolutionary Bane forces Bruce Wayne to resume his role as Batman and save Gotham City from nuclear destruction. This one I do remember towards the end. I remember, I think, a lot of car chases and stuff like that. It was very big. I remember.
Yeah, I barely remember it. I just remember Bane talking like a fucking Muppet. That's all I remember from it. I remember, I do remember Anne Hathaway was, yeah.
You're a fan of the comic book. You had read the comic, so you knew Bane as had you known Bane from the comics?
Yeah, he's like a not very, intelligent thug. He's just this big, dude. And I don't remember his story, but like he had that chemical that would kind of juice him up. And then he was basically like the Hulk. So it was a little bit of a different version that they did here. I think they tried to give, you can't blame these guys. They're like, we got Bane. Everybody loves him. Well, there's not a whole lot to him. Well, let's write something in. All right, Tom Hardy, your cast. What would you like to do? I think you should talk like a Muppet. I don't know where the Muppet voice came from, but like that took me. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, fuck this. Now I got to listen to the worst Batman impression and now the worst Bane impression. Or maybe that was the worst Sean Connery impression. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I don't have anything bad to say about the movies because I don't really remember them all that well. And I like Christian Bale. I didn't have a problem with Christian Bale as Batman.
They're forgettable. That's just the problem for me. Like I was just saying, I like Anne Hathaway. I forgot she was in it until you said this. Did I ever tell you the time I bumped into Anne Hathaway? I'm walking down the street in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, right? And I used to have an office there, and I'm just out for lunch. And you got to imagine Phoenixville is like one main street, and a couple other, side streets. And it's one of those nice towns where you go out and, it's happening. Right. But it's still this little town in Pennsylvania. So I'm walking down and I go in, I see all these people in this one little store, all these people being about 20 people because, they're small stores. And I stick my head in and there's Anne Hathaway. She's just standing there giving a speech. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It was something political. It was back when Trump was running against Hillary. So I think she was there supporting Hillary. But I remember just like opening the door, walking in going, the hell, that's Anne Hathaway right in front of me here. Like I just remember staring at her like, this must be an acid trip. I must have accidentally fell on a mushroom, snorted it up, got up, dusted myself off, walked into this store. And now I think I see Anne Hathaway.
Is that how you do mushrooms? You snort them?
I fall right on the ground and accidentally snort a mushroom. Isn't that how they're done?
I don't think so. No. Real quick little piece of side pop culture trivia here for our movie buffs out there. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Do you know what was filmed in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, Bill?
The Blob.
The Blob at the Colonial Theater.
Some of it was in Downingtown, but
sure. Yeah, the main part of them running out of the theater, though, Phoenixville. All right.
I'll even tell you that, for everybody needs to know, I met or saw Anne Hathaway exactly one block from the Colonial Theater to where the Blob was filmed. It means nothing. Go. But now it's out there.
Now it's out there. All right. So now, Bill, 2012 was Dark Knight Rises. Then 2016, we get another version of Batman. Batman versus Superman. This movie was hyped like no other movie that I ever remember being hyped. Co-produced by Atlas Entertainment and Cruel and Unusual Films, distributed by Warner Brothers. Follow-up to the Man of Steel movie from 2013 and the second installment of the DC Extended Universe. Directed by Zack Snyder, written by Chris Terrio and David Goyer. David Goyer wrote the Dark Knight movies with the other guy. Ben Affleck, bringing Ben Affleck in as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Diane Lane, Lawrence Fishburne, Jeremy Irons, Holly Hunter, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. It's the first live action film to feature Batman and Superman together, as well as the first live action cinematic portrayal of Wonder Woman. In the film, criminal mastermind Lex Luthor manipulates Batman into a battle with Superman, with whom Luthor is obsessed. What did you think of this one?
I got into the hype, and I remember being kind of disappointed. I remember thinking, oh, it could have gone differently. I mean, it's like when you finally see them kind of beat the shit out of each other, and he goes, Martha, why'd you say Martha? And then the whole movie turns. It was like, Snyder, who did that movie, you know, they talk about the Snyderverse and everything he did with Justice League and even Man of Steel. I was never a fan of Snyder. Like, I liked the final Snyder cut of the Justice League because he had a lot of time to work on, or he had no time to work on just all this footage that he had. So he pieced it together. I think he got lucky. I really do think he got lucky because I don't think he's a very good director. This movie just, it's visually attractive, but it's like, what the fuck? All of a sudden, Wonder Woman shows up. All of a sudden, it's not Deathstroke. I forget the name of the villain. It's like all of a sudden we had to cram all this shit in. And didn't really like it. But I will say, to your point, like he is a pretty interesting Batman. Up until this point, you had Batman. Remember, Batman was part of DC Detective Comics, right? Batman was a detective. He was way more like Sherlock Holmes in the earliest days. And then he got more and more like the version we know. So as the movies were going on, and even, you know, the cartoon shows, Batman would be part like, I still have to figure it out. And other part, I've already figured it out. You know, right. Like if there was, you know, suddenly there's a shark swimming around Gotham City's, you know, water system with big fuck you written on there. Right. The early Batman would be like, we have to go figure out why this shark says fuck you. Right. But the other one's going to be like, I've already figured out how to trap the fuck you shark. I just can't figure out why he says fuck you. Like you already get half of the story. So that's always been, you know, what you get out of a Batman show. But you never did get it out of a Batman movie. But you never really did get to see the more Bruce Wayne side. So that was kind of interesting about this. Like it started out like meet Batman as he runs in as Ben Affleck to try to save a little girl from the fight from Man of Steel, Superman. Yeah. And he didn't do it as Batman. So that already told you, like, you're not going to get full on Batman. You're getting the Bruce Wayne meets Batman, you know, kind of combined story. So I guess that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Did we get I can't remember. Was the origin story of Batman in this one again?
Can't remember. I get so tired of seeing those origin stories.
That's what I mean. Like, and we'll get to that with the upcoming one. Well, I didn't realize. So Justice League is our next one. Yeah. So my whole thing with the last 4 movies that we mentioned, they're all just too big. Like, bring back the 90-minute movie. I just think that they try to cram too much shit into. Well, I mean, they cram so much shit and it's just so long. And it's just, I don't know. I would rather see like a series. You know what I mean? And then binge 8 hours worth of television than sit for 3 hours and watch a movie. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way that my mind works. You know what I mean? I would if they want to make something long, make it into a series. I'll watch that. I'll sit for an hour and watch something.
I'm okay. Look, I'm okay. Make it long as it's good. If it's long and boring, I mean, Avengers Endgame was like 3 hours. I loved every second of it. Time went by. If you're saying the movie's too long, you're bored.
Yeah, I mean, they're not boring though. There's so much stuff. It's just that there's I think too much stuff that they're trying to get in there. You know what I mean?
I don't think, like you said, there's so much stuff. They're not boring. I think we're getting bored of that. I think we're getting bored of seeing so much of this stuff.
Right.
I really do.
What I mean, yeah, make them a little shorter. Make it one story, not 15 stories in one movie. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So last one, Justice League 2017. So this is just a year after Batman versus Superman. Produced by Rat Pack, Dune Entertainment, Atlas Entertainment, and Cruel and Unusual. Distributed by Warner Brothers. The fifth installment in the DC Extended Universe. It's the follow-up to Batman versus Superman, Dawn versus Justice, or Dawn of Justice, sorry. Directed by Zack Snyder. Written by Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon. Ben Affleck again, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Ray Fisher, Jeremy Irons, Diane Lane, Connie Nelson, J.K. Simmons. Batman and Wonder Woman recruit the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg after the death of Superman to save the world from the threat of Steppenwolf and his army of parademons. So, you know what I realized after doing all this research?
What?
We never got a standalone Ben Affleck Batman movie.
No, it was in the works.
Is that what this one is supposed? Is this next one? It's not. It's not a continuation. It's not a. It's going to be like the Joker movie. It's a standalone.
Yeah, it's like what I said earlier. It's its own universe. As far as I know, maybe there'll be a trick at the end and they'll be like, look at this. We're tied together to the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix verse. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to add?
So what did you think of this Justice League movie? You said you were a fan of the Super Friends or whatever when you were a kid. It's all these characters, right?
Yeah. There's two versions of the Justice League. The first version that came out is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I know I say that all the time on this show, and I know it can't be true. There's only one worst thing. There's only one worst. But this. I think this is it. The Justice League that came out. I'm going to try to make you spit that drink. The Justice League that came out because there were some issues with Zack Snyder. Right, he was filming this one, and then suddenly he was removed from the production, and there was a death in his family. I actually think it was a suicide in his family. So that if you're a parent, you can't focus on this. So suddenly he's out, and the production needs to continue. So they go and they get the guy that did the first two Avengers, Joss Whedon, right? Everybody loved Joss Whedon because they love Firefly and they love Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, all things I don't know. I don't know anything about Joss Whedon, but I loved Avengers and Avengers 2. So when I heard that he took it over, I couldn't wait. I was like, wow, we're finally going to get a fix from this Zack Snyder bullshit. Like, he was great doing 300, but I'm not a big fan of the rest of his stuff. So when this movie came out, I was excited. Yeah, let's go see what it do. And it was just dog shit, just absolute dog shit. Like, there's a scene where they tried to get Superman back, the actor Henry Cavill back for like reshoots, and he already had a mustache grown for his next movie, his Mission Impossible, whatever he was. So they were like, well, we'll CGI it off. And you just see this Superman with like this bad lip, and it's the worst CGI ever because they just had to rush it. But the tone changed. Like, all of a sudden, the angry kind of gritty style was, they were all aloof, and it sucked. It just didn't feel right. When you watch the Zack Snyder version, right? Because he was then able to take all the footage. He was able to go and CGI some new footage. I don't remember if there were reshoots with any of the actors. I think maybe some. And Cyborg is another story. I can talk about that in a minute too, and more with Joss Whedon and the shit that he caused. But when that other movie came out, the Zack Snyder version where he put everything together, then you went, all right, I see what you were going for in that first movie, and I see how this Joss Whedon guy fucked it up. So it's an amazing study to compare both movies. And the second one, because you could tell Zack Snyder was like, man, I really got to make up for this mistake. So he added like a lot of cool. There's like little vignettes at the end of the movie, little sub stories to like when you think it's done. Here's another little vignette. Here's another little vignette. So no, the second one is a really good movie. The first version is terrible.
The first you're talking about the Snyder cut of the second.
Yeah. I'm calling that the second version.
Yeah.
The Joss Whedon version.
I've never seen the Snyder cut. I haven't seen.
I'm telling you. Do it back to back. It's really interesting. I mean, it's totally different. The bad guy of the first version, the Joss Whedon version, is only, just a goon in the second one. It's not even the real bad guy, the real, big bad at the end. So I don't know. But Joss Whedon apparently is a real dick. Like he's real hard to work for. I guess he was running around calling himself a feminist, but doing like everything but, something a feminist would do. So there's a lot of people who were having, some bad times on sets with him that were kind of keeping it quiet, But this one guy on this set, what's his name? He played Cyborg. And I hated the actor, unfortunately. Ray Fisher's his name. I hated Ray Fisher as Cyborg. I just thought Cyborg was terrible. Like, just it wasn't even Ray's fault. Get Cyborg out of there. Cyborg is dumb. Cyborg wasn't one of the super friends. I don't know this Cyborg. Get Cyborg out. But he was really upset because, he was excited to be in this movie and he's got a major role. He's one of the major players. And, he started like leaking out like, hey, this Joss Whedon, like, this is a terrible man and he's a terrible director and he does really bad things. And hey, Warner, you ought to be paying attention to this guy. So he started leaking this out on Twitter until finally Warner Brothers, had to do a review and had to really kind of get into what was going on here. And guess what? You're not seeing Joss Whedon working anymore. So I don't know what really came out of it. I don't know all the behind the scenes. I think some of it's still being leaked today. But yeah, I don't know, man. It sounds like Joss Whedon did way more harm than good when they hired him to pick up for Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of that stuff. So let's talk about the new Batman, The Batman, coming out, March 5th. So probably right before we release this episode. So I am definitely interested in seeing this. They're bringing Catwoman back, right?
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. She's cool. I like her. I've seen her in some things. Lenny Kravitz's kid. I think it's Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet's kid. And I think she's a great actress. So she's cool. I'm glad to see her in it. Yeah.
What else do we know about it?
I really don't know that much. Like I said, I saw the first trailer and I was like, yeah, man, this is gritty, well shot. I can't wait to see it. And then I saw that last trailer and I was like, uh-oh, big superhero movie, CGI everywhere. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm hoping it's a bit grittier.
Do they release the runtime before the movie's out? Do they?
No, they don't, because they don't want you to know that it's a long movie. They want you to go and spend your fucking money and then you walk out because it's too long. They don't care if they got your money and your popcorn money.
I'll go see this in the theater. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie in the theater. How about you?
It's been a long time since you've been to the movies, just because of all the nonsense, the COVID stuff, I guess. But is it because you don't like going to the theater?
No, it's because of the COVID thing. I don't mind going to the theater. I like going to the theater.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But guess what? We're coming to the end of the show. Surprise list, Casey. Surprise list.
Oh, shit.
Surprise list, everybody. I decided I wanted to contribute to the list. We love lists. It's Deluxe Edition, the list show. I mean, we love lists. Can't get enough of them. So I decided to bring a few Batman, what should we call them? We'll call them like notables, some other Batman notables that aren't just movie related. All right.
Okay.
All right. Because I was thinking as we were, I was thinking about what the knowledge to bring to the show. And I was like, I wonder if Casey knows about these things. All right. So did you ever hear about the Batman water pistol toy?
No.
Here, I uploaded it. Take a look at the Batman water pistol toy.
What's wrong with that?
For those watching, all right, I'm not crass. This isn't a crass show. I'm going to be very, very gentlemanly. Take one of your action figures, anyone, you know, if they got one of those like square pelvises, bend them forward and think about how water pistols used to look. All right. Batman is basically shooting the water out of his mouth and he needs a trigger of some sort. So, yeah, this thing was very, very inappropriate to most people. But it's what are you looking for? Do you have one? I hope to God you have a Batman water pistol.
I was looking for I did have an action figure up here before. I was going to, when you pulled away, I was going to be holding it like by the crotch.
Yeah, that's funny.
Can't find it.
Yeah. So that's just something I've always known about this thing. It's been like one of the first things I ever saw on the internet was like a picture of this thing. And it was like, oh my God, they actually made a toy. Like, you know, it's just some stupid person who maybe didn't even legally have the rights. I don't know, to have Batman, you know, made into a water pistol. Honorable mention the Arkham Asylum games. When you talk about Batman, those games are awesome.
Yeah.
You play them?
Yeah, I have played those.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're good.
Like, They were one of the first games that I know of that really had that giant open map where you can go anywhere, and Batman swings through one of the greatest looking, you know, maps I've ever seen. And you can go in and out of buildings and you're just flying around with grappling hooks and going wherever you want, trying to beat the shit out of people or solve puzzles. But when the cutscenes are even great.
Easy. I need access to the National Criminal Database.
It's right here.
You must spend a lot of time here.
Cool poem box. You're bypassing the network security. But you'll need to physically...
You basically run through a Batman story. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Maybe there's even 5 of them now. I know there's Gotham Knights is either coming out or is out. I'm done with those kind of games. Can't keep up with them, but they were a lot of fun. I mean, but my son played one. He walked out of his room one day. He goes, that's just a brilliant story. Like, they're really good Batman stories.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you could find the cutscenes all stitched together on YouTube. Watch it. It's going to be like watching. Yeah. It's going to be like watching something you should have paid money for. The 90s animated show, that was a huge deal. You know, that's what really took the place of no movies being made. That 90s animated show and that style, right? The film noir style, that was a big deal. And imagine, like, they're like, we're going to make a Batman cartoon and we're going to make it kind of dark and brooding. And like, they must have been like, this is Batman. You got to make it, if it's going to be a cartoon, it's got to be kiddie and silly. But they got the okay to put it out the way it was. And people loved that show. Even Harley Quinn. Yeah, Harley Quinn was not a Batman character. That show invented her.
I arranged another early parole as soon as I heard about Gordon's testimonial. Pooh.
It is to laugh, huh, Mr. J?
People loved her so much in that show, and that show so much that her name grew. And next thing you know, she's in the comics and now she's in the movies. Yeah,
really?
That just came from that show. Yeah.
Did not know that. So that was, didn't Diedrich Bader, wasn't he a Batman voice for that show? And Kevin Conroy, right?
Kevin Conroy is a longtime Batman voice. He's like one of the most popular Batman voices for the cartoons and the games. Yeah, Diedrich Bader was Batman for a show that came out called Batman the Brave and the Bold. It was like, we're going to try another cartoon. And it was meant to look a little bit more like Golden Age comics. My son was young. I would watch it with him, and I remember it's like it's not really that great, but
and famous Joker, animated Joker, Mark Hamill, correct?
Mark Hamill, yeah, he was the Joker voice for most things. I think it's probably started. I think he was the Joker in the 90s, so he probably ran that for a long time. Like I think I'm right about that. He stopped doing it, I think. Maybe he's starting again, but I remember like he's retiring from the Joker. I was like, oh well.
That's got to be killer on your voice. I mean, that's got to, when you're constantly just cackling like that.
Yeah. But it's funny because he'll do voices too for like some of the. I also like the Spider-Man animated stuff. So when he's like the Hobgoblin, it sounds just like the Joker. Mark's got only a couple voices, but they're really good. But they kind of sound the same. Yeah, what else did I have in my notes here? We already talked about the Adam West taking over the Hanna-Barbera cartoon at that one point.
Yep.
Oh my God, I loved Batman so much as a kid. Like Batman would show up with Scooby-Doo for some reason. It's like, hey, look, Batman and Robin have to solve a crime with Scooby-Doo. There was the Batman Superman versus Batman comic that was written, which I think the movie was based on. Really, it's a great comic, and one of the what's it called? It's called do you know what it's called? It's called Hi, everybody. This is where you get to leave those angry comments for me forgetting the name of this famous comic. But it's Batman is like older, and it's a futuristic Batman who's getting kind of up there in years and is slipping a little bit. Like he's starting to get a little bit nuts, like maybe it's just old age, maybe it's a little dementia, but he's got like all of this Batman strength and power. But the government's kind of like, all right, we need to shut him down. And there's only really one guy who we know who can do it. And it's Clark Kent, who's now on our payroll. Mr. Kent, please come over and go fly and take care of Batman. So it was like a big Superman versus Batman showdown. And it was, Superman like, hey, man, stop being a dick. I don't want to kill you. Like, but I'm Superman. I'm going to kill you. And he can't kill him. Like, I'll let you read the rest of it. But that was a great comic run. Yeah. It was a good one. What else? There was just tons of games. There's tons of video games they tried to make that never got made. There's so much Batman material out there. I mean, he's got to be like, what do you think makes Batman, gives him longevity? Like Spider-Man, these guys keep coming back. Green Lantern, they can try it as much as they want. Nobody gives a shit about Green Lantern. People care about Batman. What is it about the Batman character?
Out of 1939, it was his first appearance. So, I mean, it's not like he's been around a long time. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Well, we're going to have to end this episode without an answer, everybody. I am really sorry. Casey couldn't provide an answer. He had one job.
The mystique, maybe?
Yeah. I think you got it right. I think people like that he doesn't have superpowers. It's kind of interesting to see what a regular human being can do, if properly trained, conditioned, and I mean, he must have some sort of mutant power. If we were comparing him to people in comics, like he's pretty fucking smart, that's not normal. That's inhuman. Yeah.
And a shitload of money.
That's my favorite with him. Who makes this shit? Who's making these Batmobiles?
Yeah, his Morgan Freeman. Remember?
Okay. So is Morgan just, sitting there with a socket wrench turning on all the, so he's got to have a crew of 1 billion people. So when somebody's like fabricating a bat boat, like somebody's going to go, hey, I think we're making this for Batman. Well, it says it's being delivered to Bruce Wayne. Like nobody ever figures it out.
No, everybody they have everything made separate at a separate location, but they just ask that they don't like where the emblem goes. They have to let that part blank, and then Morgan Freeman puts the
Batman sticker on it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, he's got a factory just making batarangs, right? But they're cut in half. So they're making them and they're like, well, hey, if you put 2 of these together, it makes a batarang. Oh, you're silly, George. Like, come on, man. Where are these things going? Yeah, throw them in a box and send them to Bruce Wayne and send a welding gun too. I don't know why he wants a welding gun, but send both of those over to him. Like, it's stupid.
And just Morgan Freeman's there welding each one together.
Gotta weld the batarangs. It's my job. Oh, I don't know. That always drove me nuts. I'm only upset that I'm not as rich as Bruce Wayne.
That's what bothers you about these movies?
I don't know. I know it's fiction. I should look the other way, but I get really upset. Like, come on.
Superman is not real.
No.
He flies. He's an alien. He's from another planet. And you're worried about who's building Batman's gadgets.
Everything about Superman is explained, except this is not explained about Batman. If it's Lucius Fox or whatever his name is, like, I need to know more. Yeah. I need to know.
All right. So we can there's been fan films made. We can make a fan film about the production of Batman's gear.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see it. I want to see him welding the batarangs together so we can get him past imports.
I remember that being in one of the movies. There's a montage of I think Christian Bale doing a lot of work on something. I remember that. I remember a montage of work being done.
Like one of those A-Team scenes, like dun, 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 time to go fight crime. Batman suiting up. They did that in every one of the Batman movies. You'd see Batman suiting up, putting on his boot, and like I remember everybody hated. I think it was Batman and Robin with George Clooney. Like all of a sudden they go boot, cowl, and then he slips a batarang into his boot, and then they go to his chest. And they're like bat nipples. Like what the hell? He had bat nipples for some reason. Oh. All right, Casey, this was a long one. I could talk about Batman for a lot longer. I got more notes here, but I also, I gotta go. Case. I gotta eat.
All right. Well, then you know what that means. It's time for our little
bologna sandwich
here.
Oh, no, dinner.
Plugs. If you care to buy any of our merch, I was wearing that nice deluxe edition shirt last week. Head over to whatamaneuver.net/collections/deluxe edition. We are on Instagram and Twitter at Deluxe Edition Pod. If you would like to support our show, you go to patreon.com/Deluxe Edition Pod. We have a bunch of different tiers on there for you to check out. And we are on the Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, with a bunch of other great shows: Take on the World, Horsing Around, Highly Judgmental, Real Estate and You, 100% Recycled. I think I got all of them. All right, Bill.
All right. Very good. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And please let us know. I want to know if you're excited about the new Batman movie. Well, it's out pretty soon. I think it's out in a couple days.
Yeah, it'll be out. By the time this drops, it'll be out.
Yeah,
March 5th it comes out.
Please let us know. Tweet at us.
Let us know.
Write some comments.
Tweet. Join our Facebook.
Tweet.
Join our Facebook group. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff over on our Facebook group, and check out. Leave comments everywhere, and let us know what your favorite Batman movie is. I have a feeling that it's going to be the first one. My thoughts.
1966 Batman. You're right.
No, come on. Not the first one. All right, later, everybody.
Bye.